Good evening. You're watching Independent News. I am Sakhawat Khan. We begin as usual with the headlines. A trawler with 110 Bangladeshis intending to enter Malaysia illegally capsizes in the Bay of Bengal. 86 passengers are still missing. Barack Obama has been re-elected as U.S. President for the second term, defeating Republican challenger Mitt Romney. (1,500) activists of the Jamaat-e-Islami and its associate student body Islami Chhatra Shibir have been sued for attacks on police over the last 2 days. A trawler heading towards Malaysia with 110 Bangladeshis on board capsized in the Bay of Bengal near Teknaf today. 24 passengers have been rescued so far. The passengers reportedly intended to enter the Southeast Asian country illegally. Rescuers say that the trawler sank near Teknaf around 6 this morning. Earlier, on the 27th of October, another Malaysia-bound boat with passengers intending to enter Malaysia illegally sank near St. Martin's Island. 122 passengers of that boat are still unaccounted for. President Barack Obama has been re-elected to a second term in office, defeating Republican challenger Mitt Romney. Voter turnout was reported to be at record high levels in many states. The turnout reflected the strength of the feeling aroused by the long election campaign. There were still long queues of people waiting to vote after polls had officially closed.
4 years after he was elected as the first black president of America, Barack Obama secured 303 electoral votes in the 2012 election. Obama secured 33 electoral votes more than he needed to be re-elected for a second term. In his victory speech before supporters in Chicago, Obama promised the American people that the best is yet to come as he accepted a second term in the White House. Obama said he would talk to Mitt Romney about where we can work together to move this country forward.
Our economy is recovering. A decade of war is ending. A long campaign is now over. And whether I earned your vote or not, I have listened to you. I have learned from you. And you've made me a better president. And with your stories and your struggles, I return to the White House more determined and more inspired than ever about the work there is to do and the future that lies ahead.
Obama made it clear he had an agenda in mind for his second term, citing immigration reform and changes in the tax code. He also hinted at a new approach to climate change, or as he put it, an America that isn't threatened by the destructive power of a warming planet. He also made several thanks to the troops and the army for their contribution and sacrifice.
The role of citizen in our democracy does not end with your vote. America's never been about what can be done for us. It's about what can be done by us together through the hard and frustrating but necessary work of self-government. That's the principle we were founded on.
Shortly before the Obama speech, Romney phoned the president to concede. In a gracious concession speech in Boston, Romney also told his supporters that this is no time for political posturing for the nation. Romney paid tribute to his wife, Anne, and running mate Paul Ryan, as he said they had given everything to the campaign.
I have just called President Obama to congratulate him on his victory. His supporters and his campaign also deserve congratulations. I wish all of them well, but particularly the President, the First Lady, and their daughters. This is a time of great challenges for America, and I pray that the President will be successful in guiding our nation.
Final estimates show that the election was the most expensive in the U.S. history, with Obama having raised close to $1 billion and Romney more than $800 million. When the figures for spending by the supporters, mainly by the super PACs, are included, the total is well over $2 billion.
Meanwhile, Commerce Minister G.M. Qadir has said that Barack Obama's re-election is a hope for the Bangladeshi ready-made garment sector to get duty-free access to the U.S. market. Distinguished Fellow of the Center for Policy Dialogue, or CPD, Debapriya Bhattacharya, however, said the preference the U.S. gives to the sub-Saharan countries is an obstacle to Bangladesh getting duty-free access.
Most of all, we need duty-free access for our R&D products, but we are yet to get it. Obama's victory is a hope for us.
The election manifesto of Democrat Party gives priority to sub-Saharan or East African states. These countries have turned to be a barrier to duty-free access of Bangladeshi products.
Meanwhile, Chief Whip of Parliament Abdul Shahid has said that the U.S. election is proof that a fair election can be held under an elected government. But BNP leader Maudud Ahmed contradicted him by pointing out that the elections in the U.S. and in Bangladesh cannot be compared because democracy is still immature in Bangladesh. Meanwhile, Jatiya Party chairman H.M. Ershad expressed doubt over general elections actually being held in Bangladesh in about a year. They made the comments after a mock voting arranged by the U.S. Embassy at a hotel in Dhaka today.
The U.S. Embassy in Dhaka organized a mock voting program at a local hotel to mark the U.S. presidential election. U.S. expatriates in Bangladesh and local invited guests can cast mock votes, where Democratic candidate Obama bagged 277 votes, while Republican candidate Romney bagged only 13.
For the President of the United States of America.
In his speech, U.S. Ambassador Dan Mazina praised democracy in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, too, knows the joys and demands of democracy. Bangladesh, too, has heard and benefited from the voice of the people.
Political leaders who attended the event discussed the next general elections in Bangladesh.
Political parties in Bangladesh do not trust each other. It would be unthinkable that the current government will hold a fair election given the way they are running the country.
When the president dissolves parliament and announces elections according to the constitution, the people will accept it. There is no scope of any alternative to that.
A fair election is possible if a better alternative to caretaker government system is formulated and accepted by all. But is that possible? I don't think so.
The leaders also hope that Barack Obama's re-election will strengthen Bangladesh-US relations.
Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has returned home after a 6-day official visit to Laos. A special flight of Bangladesh Biman brought the Premier and her entourage in Dhaka this evening. Hasina went to Laos to attend the 9th ASEM Summit. The summit ended with the declaration of a 16-point charter. Bangladesh, along with Norway and Switzerland, got full membership of the 52-nation alliance this year. Police have filed cases against more than 1,500 activists of the Jamaat-e-Islami and its associate student body, Islami Chhatra Shibir. The cases have been filed for their attacks on law enforcers over the last 2 days. Meanwhile, police arrested 68 Jamaat and Shibir activists from different places. In Rangpur, police filed 5 cases against 12 Jamaat activists and 182 other unidentified people. The law enforcers arrested 2 Jamaat activists last night. In Rajshahi, 400 Jamaat Shibir activists were sued for attacks on the police. The law enforcers have arrested 16 people so far in that city. In Sylhet, police filed 3 cases against 50 Shibir leaders and activists and 750 unidentified people. They arrested 50 people during an overnight drive. Meanwhile, law enforcing agencies think that the Jamaat-e-Islami and Chhatra Shibir activists attacked policemen over the last 2 days just to unnerve the law enforcers. The spokesperson of the Dhaka Metropolitan Police, Munirul Islam, however, said that the police have identified the masterminds of the violence.
Documentary evidence সেগুলো আমরা পেয়েছি যাতে
We have documentary evidence that policemen were their main target. They intended to create panic within the police force so that they don't resist their destructive activities. We have identified the masterminds of violence of the last 2 days. We have also got the names and the identities of the people who are involved in the attacks. We will soon bring them to justice.
তাদেরকে তাদের নাম ঠিকানা আমরা পেয়েছি
Minister without portfolio Suranjit Sengupta has said the recent demonstrations by Jamaat-e-Islami activists have revealed their undemocratic character. State Minister for Law Kamrul Islam claimed that the BNP had a direct hand behind the Jamaat demonstrations. The ministers made the comments at a program in Dhaka today. Suranjit said the people have resisted what he claimed as democratic or undemocratic destruction by Jamaat activists. Kamrul Islam said that law enforcers are ready to prevent the Jamaat's attempt to create anarchy in the country.
As they have already proved themselves to be unconstitutional and undemocratic through violent activities, the government must consider whether they have any democratic right to do politics in this country.
একদিকে মওদুদ খন্দকার মাহবুব হোসেনের
On that day, Maudud Ahmed and Khandokar Mahbub Hossain attempted to create disturbances inside the War Crimes Tribunal, while BNP-backed Jamaat activists attempted to create anarchy on the streets. Law enforcers are still showing restraint.
ঘটানোর চেষ্টা করা
We'll take a short break now, but here's what's coming up after the break. A parliamentary subcommittee turned several visits by Prime Minister's advisor Syed Mudassar Ali to Sonali Bank's Rupushi Bangla Hotel branch as unusual. The government claims that the export of Bangladeshi workers has doubled over the last 3 years. Baira differs with the assessment. Welcome back. You're watching Independent News. A parliamentary subcommittee formed to probe the Hallmark loan scam has found several visits by Prime Minister's advisor Syed Mudassar Ali to Sonali Bank to be unusual. At a media briefing in the capital today, Chairman of the subcommittee, Tajul Islam, also termed Mudassar's visits to the bank's Rupushi Bangla Hotel branch illogical. Earlier, in a statement to the committee, Mudassar Ali said that he had visited the bank only because the then manager was his relative. Mudassar also said that he participated in a Hallmark program on the bank manager's request. The PM's advisor, however, claimed that he had no link with the loan scam. Today is November 7th. An important day in the country's political history. The main opposition BNP observes this day as National Revolution and Solidarity Day. On the other hand, the Awami League marks it as the day of killing of soldiers and freedom fighters.
The newly independent Bangladesh saw the magical chair of power whirled in the country after the brutal assassination of Bangabandhu and his family members on the 15th of August in 1975. 3 months later, 4 national leaders were killed inside the Dhaka Central Jail. Deputy Speaker Shaukat Ali and Oli Ahmed recalled their experiences of those volatile days and the subsequent unrest in the armed forces.
On the 3rd of November, I came to know that a military coup took place under the leadership of Khalid Musharraf and General Zia was imprisoned.
সশস্ত্র বাহিনীর সদস্যরা দেশের জাতীয়তাবাদী শক্তির
Members of the armed forces and the people could not accept the coup staged by Khalid Musharraf.
বা অভ্যুত্থানটা ছিল এটা মেনে নিতে পারে নাই।
Since 1976, the BNP has been observing the day as the National Revolution and Solidarity Day. BNP Acting Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir termed the day as the day of securing democracy in the country.
7 নভেম্বরের চেতনা হচ্ছে স্বাধীনতার সার্বভৌমত্বকে
The spirit of November 7 is to strengthen the country's sovereignty and to make every individual self-dependent.
যে শপথ সেই শপথ নেওয়ার দিন হচ্ছে এই 7 নভেম্বর।
On this day in 1975, Colonel Tahir led soldiers and civilians to free Ziaur Rahman from captivity. Tahir's family thinks the incident protected the sovereignty of the country at that time. However, they allege that Tahir was executed through mock trial after that incident.
That was a mock trial. Tahir was not given any chance of self-defense, and he was not allowed to appoint any lawyer for himself.
কর্নেল তাহির সেদিন তাদের নেতৃত্ব দিয়েছিলেন।
Colonel Tahir led them on that day and Ziaur Rahman was saved by him. Tahir had an understanding with Zia that the demands of the soldiers and the civilians should be met.
এই যে দাবিগুলো সাধারণ সৈন্যরা করছে যেটা জনগণেরও দাবি ছিল।
The Jatiyo Samastantrik Dol and some other organizations observed the day as the day of civil military revolution.
মানুষ যেন আরো একবার উদ্বেলিত হলো মুক্তিযুদ্ধে।
Expatriates Welfare Minister Khondokar Musharraf Hussain has claimed that the export of Bangladeshi workers has doubled in the last 3 years. He said that Bangladesh is now sending workers to 155 countries. However, the Bangladesh Association of International Recruiting Agencies, or BAIRA, says that the increase in the number of countries does not mean that the number of workers going abroad has increased.
Bangladesh now sends workers to 155 countries. 3 years ago, manpower was exported to only 75 countries. The Expatriates Welfare Minister said that the government will send workers to the additional countries on its own without involving recruiting agencies.
ইটালিতে একটা ব্যাপক ইটালির সরকার আমাদের সাথে এমইউ সই করতে চাচ্ছে।
The Italian government wants to sign a memorandum of understanding with us. It may be signed later this month or early next month. Then we will start sending workers there. After Italy, doors of other European countries may also open.
ইটালি একবার ওপেন হয়ে গেলেই ইউরোপের অন্যান্য দেশেও উন্মুক্ত হওয়ার সম্ভাবনা খুব ব্যাপক হারে দেখা দিচ্ছে।
But a source in the ministry says that manpower export has in fact decreased by 300,000 in the last 5 years. BAIRA said that Bangladesh is failing to save its labor market.
যে পরিমাণ জনশক্তি রপ্তানি আজকে আমার হাতে থাকা দরকার, আমাদের দেশ থেকে যাওয়া দরকার।
Bangladesh is not exporting a large number of workers now. The pipeline capacity is not good. I don't think it would be appropriate for me to say anything about the statistics of current manpower export.
এই সংখ্যা তত্ত্ব আমার মনে হয় বলা উচিত হবে কিনা আমি জানি না।
Exporters say that developing a new market for workers takes time. They said Bangladesh will benefit the most if it can reopen its regular markets in Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates.
And that's all we have for now, but you can get more news and updates from independent television through your mobile phones. For breaking news, go to your mobile message option, type *B and send to 16232. For daily news updates, type *DN and send to 16232. You can also call 16232 from any operator to listen to the latest headlines in Bangla. And that's all from the English News Desk this evening. We'll be back tomorrow at our usual time of 8 p.m. Thank you for watching and good night.